Hi, this is Andrew J. West, and I'm on FrConventions. Yeah, I remember it well. So I had worked on another show created by Eddie and Adam, the creators of Once Upon a Time. It was called Dead of Summer, and I had worked on this show previously before I had, gotten the job on Once Upon a Time, and I'd gotten to know them through working on that show. And I guess there was something about my character on that show that made them think that maybe I would be the right person for this particular job. So they reached out to me about this role, about this new direction that they were taking with the Henry Mills character, and they told me about it, and I was, of course, very excited to work on the show, at the prospect of working on the show. So they actually set up an opportunity to kind of make an audition tape for ABC, for the ABC executives. And they were there to kind of assist and to go through ideas and to sort of work on this tape. So it was actually a pretty unique audition process, because oftentimes that's not the way it works at all. You just sort of go in with the casting director, you make the tape, or sometimes you will audition for the producer sometimes, and then you go home and you hope you hear and whatever. But this was a little bit more, I knew them because of the previous show, and it just felt like there was a better chance that it might actually happen. It was more about kind of making sure that the network was on board as well, and luckily they were, and that was it. There was an enormous amount of pressure just that I felt from myself walking into such a hugely popular show, and also playing a character that had been long established, was obviously in the pilot of the show, and was such the heart of the show. It was challenge. It was daunting. It was it was something that I didn't take lightly, and that I really wanted to make sure I did justice to the character and to the show and to all the fans that the show had built over all these years. So I fully immersed myself in watching all of the show, getting very familiar with the relationships between all the characters, all of the important relationships that Henry Mills had with each of the characters, and made sure I was very just clear on that, and that it was sort of deep in my bones before I started playing this older version of the character. Now, when I got to set and started working, it was great because everyone was so welcoming. And the thing was, so for season 7, obviously you had half of the cast that had been there forever, or for a very long time anyway. Lana and Bobby and Colin and all these people, and then you had half of the cast that was new, and so it was this kind of unique hybrid of old and new characters. But Lana and Colin and Bobby and everybody were so just welcoming, and really embraced us and embraced this kind of new direction that the show was taking. I felt like I was put at ease very quickly, it was just fun. It was really fun. So again, it was just so important for me to get very clear on the nature of those relationships, and obviously I got to work with Lana, and we saw that evolution of that relationship with Ronnie, the Ronnie character that she was playing in season 7, and then we also saw with Regina and the different iterations of the characters that Lana was playing. But I was really excited that I got to at least do one episode with Emma Swan as well. It was really, I thought that was so great that they were able to incorporate that, and it also made all of it feel a lot more grounded for me. Being able to establish something that happens between those two characters, the adult version of Henry, my version of that character, and Emma Swan, to actually get to do that in one of the early episodes of season 7 was great. It really felt like it gave me a certain kind of foothold for how to continue to build that character. And then getting to do so much stuff with Lana through the course of the season was cool too, because I felt like I got to really work on a continuation of a relationship that had obviously spanned the entire series, the 7 seasons of the show. So it's great. Yeah, it was super interesting to explore, to get to play that, because I hadn't really gotten to do much of that yet at that point. And I wasn't a parent myself yet at that point either. When we filmed season 7, I didn't have any children yet. I now have 3. And so I have, a lot of experience now in raising kids, and the gray hairs to prove it. At the time, I didn't have that personal experience, but in working with the Lucy character, and she was such a great actress too, but we had so much time also, given 22 episodes, to develop this relationship together, and also given the nature of the storyline and the fact that I didn't really, my cursed version didn't remember my family and all this. It was set up really nicely to kind of find that relationship and build it over time. But yeah, I loved that. There was something that was really kind of wonderful and full circle about that, to see Henry Mills in a parent role and to see his relationship with a child like that. It was it was great. Yeah. Well, I think what makes it unique, because you're right, it's like a classic version of the fairy tale story that we've seen many times, whether it's Cinderella, which is, who the character was, or Sleeping Beauty, these different kind of fairy tale sort of archetypes. What was cool about this one was that you see these cursed versions of these characters who don't know each other in the beginning of the season, playing out these lives in this real world suburb of Seattle. And I thought that was a unique take on getting to kind of see how these characters interact, not knowing who they are, how they're related, how they, and seeing if there still is some sort of spark that can't be denied, and if there's some sort of, if there's something happening in those relationships that is going to be stronger than this curse that was put on them. I thought that was a really fun, interesting place to take the story, and so I was excited to get to do that. Yeah, oh my God, this is absolutely amazing. I really looked forward to this experience so much, and it's not disappointing at all. I love this city, and I love the people of this city. I was here 6 years ago, and I had a great time. And I'm actually seeing a lot of familiar faces in the fans that I remember from 6 years ago, which is just so cool. So to get to spend this time with these fans is really fun. And I was just talking to somebody about how, it's been quite a lot of years since the show has been off the air, has wrapped, the series has wrapped. And sometimes as an actor it can start to feel like, that was all in the past. People don't really care about this show that I worked on or that show or whatever. But then you come to a convention like this and you realize, like, wow, this has had such a lasting effect. People still really care about a show that I cared so much about, about a piece of work that, that I was really loved working on. And it means a lot. And then also, to get to see all of my co-stars. I mean, a lot of us, we live in different continents, different countries. And so I don't get to see these people that often. And so to come here and hang out for a weekend is just so fun.